"You're finished, Lauren," he said, his voice a cold blade slicing through the sleek boardroom. "Step aside. We'll handle the rest." Lauren Carter, 46, stood rooted, her fingers curled around a chipped ceramic mug, emblazoned with "Risk Less, Win More" in faded script. Ethan Walsh, a hedge fund prodigy with a smirk that could curdle milk, lounged in his chair, his Rolex catching the sterile glow of Apex Capital's Seattle headquarters. The 39th floor boardroom, all glass and steel, gleamed with a clinical edge. The Puget Sound, a muted gray beyond rain-slicked windows. This wasn't a discussion. It was a hit. The invite had landed at 6:45, a cryptic Outlook ping strategic review. No details, just a room and a sinking feeling. Now, facing Ethan's polished arrogance, Lauren knew she'd walked into a trap. Her pulse thrummed, but her gaze held steady, unyielding. The mug was her tether, a worn keepsake from Orion Investments, the boutique firm where she'd poured 20 years of her life. Orion was a gritty startup once, a Belltown loft alive with late-night debates and coffee-fueled breakthroughs. Lauren had been its cornerstone, crafting risk models that weathered the 2018 market storm when giants crumbled. She wasn't just an analyst, she was the pulse, the one who turned fear into focus, who kept clients steady when the markets shook. They'd called her Orion's Anchor, a title earned through grit and late nights. That era was ash now. Apex Capital had gutted Orion in a brutal takeover, sealed weeks ago with a press release dripping in jargon. Transformative growth. Dynamic wealth. Her office, once a messy sanctuary of notes and camaraderie, was erased, replaced by Apex's productivity hub, a cold sprawl of glass desks and chairs that cost more than her car payment. A smart coffee machine hummed in the corner, and posters screamed, "One Apex, one Destiny," blotting out Orion's old mantra, "Truth in Trust." Her team, once her family, sharing takeout after deals and memes during crashes, had gone quiet. Their eyes averted, lured by Apex's stock options and empty promises. Even Michael Reed, Orion's founder, who'd once toasted her as the reason we survive, was a shadow now. At the last company meeting, he'd stood silent, gaze down, as Apex's CEO spun tales of next-level synergy, a broken echo of the man who'd built their dream. Ethan flicked his tablet, his grin smug. "Your models, Lauren charming, but obsolete. Our AI's light years ahead. No offense, you're just not in the game anymore." Lauren's teeth clenched, her voice low, precise. "My charming models saved Orion when your AI would have tanked." She'd built systems that held millions together while Ethan was likely still prepping for his MBA. He shrugged, unfazed, tapping the tablet. "We're refining our roster, cutting excess. Details are coming. Stay nimble. Okay?" His smile was a sales pitch, slick and hollow, and he strolled out, leaving Lauren with the drone of the AC and a fire in her core. At her desk, a glass slab in a sea of sameness, she set the mug down, its chip catching the light like a wound. Her screen flashed an email from Apex HR, subject Talent Integration Plan. The first line, "As we optimize our workforce," felt like a fist. She didn't read on. She knew the drill: severance, silence clauses. Her legacy wiped clean. Her gaze landed on a photo taped to her cubicle, her Orion team, laughing after a 2020 win, their joy raw and real. Beside it, a stress ball shaped like a stock ticker, a gift from an intern she'd mentored, now thriving elsewhere. She gripped it, its weight grounding her. Outside, Seattle's rain veiled the skyline, the Space Needle a faint shadow. Lauren exhaled, steady, fierce. They wanted her gone, erased. They didn't know she was built to fight back. Lauren Carter sat at her glass desk, the Apex Capital office humming around her like a machine she didn't belong to. Her monitor's glow lit the photo of her old Orion team, their grins a distant echo, while her chipped mug, "Risk less, win more," stood like a lone sentinel among Apex's sleek pens, their silver arrow logo sharp as a threat. The Seattle office felt alien, its air too crisp, its lights too clinical, its ergonomic chairs pressing against her like a subtle nudge to conform. Ethan Walsh struck that morning, his Rolex flashing as he dropped a tablet on her desk. "Client slides need a brand refresh by lunch," he said, his tone light, like he was asking her to grab a coffee. "You'll nail it." Lauren's fingers twitched, yearning to shove the tablet back at his smug face. A brand refresh she'd built risk models that saved Orion from the 2018 crash. Her laptop whirring through nights of code. She'd mentored analysts now leading funds, steadied clients when markets bled. Now, she was stuck polishing slides for a kid who thought alpha was a personality. She bit back the anger, her jaw tight. "Got it," she said, voice flat. Ethan's grin widened, all teeth, and he strutted off, his Apple Watch buzzing with self-importance. This wasn't oversight. It was erosion, Apex chipping away at her purpose. Yesterday, her access to Orion's risk system had vanished, the login spitting out access denied like a cold rejection. Her IT query got a robotic contact your lead. Ethan, naturally, ghosted her. Her mind drifted to Orion's Belltown loft, where coffee stains marked the walls and ideas sparked like static. She and Michael Reed would wrestle with risk curves until dawn, their debates fueled by takeout and trust. "You're our anchor," he'd said in 2017 after she caught a trade glitch that could have gutted them, his smile warm as he handed her a soda. That Lauren was fading, smothered by Apex's sterile shine. A colleague, Jen, hurried past, eyes down, as if Lauren carried a plague. The Orion crew, once her ride or die, sharing laughs over late-night audits, had turned silent, their loyalty traded for Apex's stock promises. Her chest stung, betrayal sharp as a splinter. She caught Ethan's voice from a glass-walled meeting pod, his tone cocky. "Old talent's a burden. We're cutting clean." "Claire's got the list." Claire Donovan, Apex's HR chief, murmured. "Precise. No fallout." Lauren's blood chilled. List. Her name was on it, marked for slaughter. A memory flared Orion's 2021 holiday party. Michael on a table, glass raised. "We're a family," he'd roared, wine sloshing. Lauren had smirked but felt the warmth, the bond. Now, Michael was a specter. At Apex's last all-hands, he'd hovered in the back, eyes averted, while CEO Victor Langston preached dynamic wealth. His silence cut deeper than Ethan's jabs. Her phone buzzed a calendar invite. "Talent review, 4B West, 8 a.m. Tomorrow. No sender, no details, just a room she couldn't place." Her pulse quickened, a warning bell. 4B. West was likely a hidden nook for Apex's quiet exits. She hovered over decline, gut screaming ambush, but held back. Running wasn't her style. Lauren leaned back, chair creaking, her eyes on the team photo Orion's crew, arms linked, alive with victory. Beside it, the stock ticker stress ball, a gift from an intern she'd shaped. She squeezed it, its heft steadying her, sparking resolve, outside. Seattle's rain lashed the windows, the Space Needle lost in fog. Apex wanted her broken, erased. They didn't know she was forged in tougher storms. The room in 4B West was a crypt, its chill sinking into Lauren Carter's bones like a warning. She sat alone at a bare table, her chipped mug, risk less, Win more, abandoned on her desk. A casualty left behind, tucked deep in Apex Capital's Seattle fortress. The space was barren, no windows, just stark walls and a hum of artificial air that felt like a verdict. Claire Donovan, Apex's HR chief, sat across, her smile as thin as a razor, practiced to conceal intent. Beside her, Randall Holt, a VP with a suit as rigid as his stare, gripped a manila folder like it might shield him from her. "Lauren Carter," Randall said, his voice a monotone, like he was naming a problem to erase. "Correct." She nodded, spine straight, eyes sharp. "That's right." Claire's smile tightened, her tone overly smooth. "We've completed a workforce audit. Lauren, and your role, it's excess." The word struck like a stone, blunt and heavy. Apex is about forward motion. This isn't about you. Lauren's chest burned, a slow flare of rage. Excess she'd forged Orion's risk systems from chaos, saved them from ruin while Claire was likely still perfecting her corporate headshot. "Excess," she echoed, voice cutting like flint. "Did anyone who knows my work, my actual team, agree to this?" Randall's gaze flicked to the folder, a twitch of unease. It was an executive decision, strategic. He slid the folder forward, its edges sharp. "Your severance, 2 weeks' pay, vacation balance, Cobra. Sign the non-disclosure by Friday." Lauren stared at the folder, untouched, her pulse a steady thrum. "You didn't even check my record, did you?" Silence. Claire's smile wavered, a crack in her mask. Randall's jaw tightened. No reply offered. That was her answer. "I built the systems you're cashing in on," Lauren said. Each word a spark. "I trained your clients, coded the models you call progress, and you're discarding me with a template." Claire leaned in, voice syrupy. "We honor your past, Lauren, but Apex is the future." Future! The word stung like a slap. Lauren stood, chair scraping, her shadow stark. "You can't erase what I made." She left the folder behind, its pages as empty as their words, and walked out. The doors thud a final note. Back at her desk, the office was a tomb. Colleagues once allies hid behind screens, their silence a betrayal louder than shouts. Jen, who'd once shared late-night coffee during audits, stared at her monitor like it held her soul. Lauren packed with care, Orion team photo, stock ticker stress ball, a battered notebook of old models. Ethan Walsh appeared, clutching a kombucha, clueless. "Switching pods," he asked, grinning. She walked past, her box of relics heavy, her steps firm. In her Capitol Hill apartment, Seattle's rain roared against the windows, a storm matching her mood. Lauren sat at her kitchen table, a whiskey bottle unopened beside a laptop open to a job board. Senior analyst must disrupt, pivot, thrive in chaos. The words taunted her. She'd thrived in worse, built Orion's strength from nothing. Now she was a shadow, scrolling through her own end. Restless. She dug through a drawer of bills and old cards, her fingers brushing something solid. A leather-bound report, Orion's logo etched in gold, Systemic Risk Assessment Apex Capital Exposure, 2017. Her breath hitched. She'd written it. A warning of Apex's reckless bets. A disaster buried by Michael Reed's fear. His note, scrawled inside, "Hit like a jolt your shield if they turn on us." Lauren's hands steadied. Whiskey forgotten. The report wasn't just data, it was a bomb, missed by Apex's careless rush for glory. Her eyes sharpened, a spark igniting. They thought they'd broken her, a line item crossed out. They didn't see the fire she was ready to unleash. Lauren Carter pushed through the door of a weathered office above a Fremont bookstore, Seattle's rain hammering the windows like a call to arms. The room smelled of old paper and ambition, a stark contrast to Apex Capital's gleaming sterility. She held the leather-bound report, Systemic Risk Assessment Apex Capital Exposure, tight, its weight a promise of reckoning. Rachel Kim, a lawyer with a knack for dismantling corporate titans, sat behind a desk cluttered with legal pads and a lone Red Bull can, her black blazer sharp against the chaos. Rachel rose, her handshake firm, eyes glinting. "Got something sharp?" she asked, nodding at the report. Lauren set it down, the thud heavy in the quiet. "Apex fired me, no cause. This proves they're sitting on a catastrophe." Her voice was steady, but a fire burned beneath, each word a spark. Rachel opened the report, her gaze slicing through pages of charts and warnings from 2017, Apex's reckless bets, a collapse waiting for a nudge. She let out a low whistle. "This isn't a shield, Lauren, it's a dagger!" Her smile was fierce, a hunter spotting prey. They missed this in their rush for glory. Their board's gonna choke. Lauren exhaled, her tension easing. "What's our move?" Rachel's pen tapped the desk. A rhythm of war. This could spark lawsuits, SEC probes, a stock crash to rival '08. "We demand your equity payout, plus damages 15 million firm." She leaned in, eyes blazing. "Pay, or we leak this to the press." Lauren's mind flashed to her Capitol Hill apartment. The job boards mocking her. The whiskey she'd ignored. 15 million wasn't just money. It was retribution. A chance to rewrite Apex's lie that she was nothing. "They'll fight," she said, voice calm. "Let them writhe," Rachel shot back, scribbling notes. This report's a trap they stepped into blind. Lauren thought of Priya Sharma, an Orion analyst who'd quit during the takeover, fed up with Apex's deceit. They'd met last week. Priya hinting at Apex's hidden accounts, fudged profits. Lauren texted her, "Need you. Apex is about to fall." Priya's reply was instant, "I'm in. Got files they'll dread." Rachel's eyes sparked when Lauren shared the plan. "A whistleblower. Oh, this is lethal. Her data, plus your report. We're not just suing, we're crushing them." They drafted a letter, cold and cutting, aimed at Apex's CEO Victor Langston, the board, and their legal team. It demanded $15 million, citing the report's leverage and Priya's evidence, with a 14-day deadline before a lawsuit for breach and negligence. Each word was a strike, forged by Rachel's legal steel and Priya's insider betrayal. Lauren stood in a UPS store, the clerk's stamp hitting the certified mail forms like a heartbeat. 7 envelopes, each a spear aimed at Apex's glass empire. The rain outside roared, a storm mirroring her resolve. She didn't need tracking. She knew these would hit like lightning, back home. She poured coffee into her chipped mug. Risk less, win more. Staring up, a quiet vow. The battle wasn't won, but the ground had shifted. Apex thought they'd silenced her. They didn't know she was the flame that would burn their house down. Lauren Carter sat at her Capitol Hill kitchen table. The leather-bound report, Systemic Risk Assessment, Apex, Capital Exposure, lying like a primed trap. Seattle's rain battered the windows, a fierce rhythm echoing the pulse in her veins. Her phone lit up with an email from Apex Capital's legal team. Subject line, "Immediate action required." The words reeked of fear, and Lauren's mouth curved into a tight smile. They'd opened her $15 million demand, and their glass tower was shaking. The email, from Dresden, Halberstam, and Lyle, was a barrage of legal thorns, charges of data breach, confidentiality violation, and, in stark caps, intentional misconduct. The final line snarled, "Pursuing your claims will trigger countersuits for reputational harm and breach of duty." Lauren's heart skipped, a flicker of doubt clawing at her. Could they twist her fight into their weapon? She crushed the thought, her grip on the phone firm. They were scrambling, a beast cornered and lashing out. Her phone buzzed again, a voicemail from Victor Langston, Apex's CEO. His tone was smooth, a salesman's veneer. "Lauren, let's make this easy. I'm offering $300,000, no strings. Clean break. Call me." She scoffed, sharp and dry. "That's not a deal." "Victor," she muttered to the dark room, "it's a bribe." She ignored him, letting his words dissolve into silence. Apex didn't stop there. By noon, texts flooded in from old Orion colleagues, their tones wary, strained. "Lauren, you okay?" "Apex's lawyers asked if you ever skewed data." I said nothing. Another, from Jen. "Their digging asked if you took files home." I shut them down. "Stay sharp." Lauren's jaw clenched, her teeth grinding. They were hunting, desperate to smear her as a traitor. Even Jen, who'd once shared a cab with her after a late audit, sounded like she was walking on knives. That evening, Priya Sharma called, her voice a hushed spark. "Lauren, I found more. Apex is burying massive losses to inflate their stock for a funding push. Her files records of hidden accounts. Doctored profits were a scandal ready to erupt." Lauren's pulse surged, a fire igniting. "Send it to Rachel," she said. "We're not just fighting, we're burning them." The next morning, Apex hit back. A press release flashed across financial sites. Its headline, "A gut punch, Apex Capital severs analyst for ethical violations." No name, but the details, veteran, risk expert, 20 years pointed straight at her. They painted her as reckless, a liability cut for honesty. Lauren stared at her screen, coffee cold in her chipped mug, the smear stinging like salt in a wound. It hurt, but it sharpened her edge. They weren't just scared, they were unraveling. She met Rachel Kim at a Fremont diner. The report and Priya's files spread like a battle plan across the table. Rachel's eyes gleamed, her fork idle beside a half-eaten waffle. "This is fire, Lauren. Their smear's a weak jab defamation we can nail. Their books, an SEC death sentence." She leaned closer, voice low. "We hit harder. Threaten to leak this to Reuters unless they pay the full $15 million. Lauren nodded. Her doubt now, Ash. "They think they can bully me silent. They're about to learn I don't bend." Rachel drafted a new letter, cold as steel, naming Reuters and the fallout lawsuits, audits, a stock crash that would bury Apex. Lauren mailed it. The certified stamp, a drumbeat in the storm. Back home. She stood by her window, rain tracing jagged lines down the glass. The smear lingered, a bruise, but Priya's files and Rachel's plan were her armor. Apex had tried flattery, threats, now lies. She wasn't just a discarded analyst, she was a storm, and their empire of cards was about to collapse. Lauren Carter sat in a Seattle conference room, the tension thick as fog, rain slashing the windows like a warning shot. Across a sleek table, Apex Capital's legal team, 3 suits from Dresden, Halberstam, and Lyle shuffled papers, their faces taut with the strain of a crumbling defense. Rachel Kim, Lauren's lawyer, leaned back, her black blazer cutting against the room's bland walls, her legal pad a map of calculated strikes. The Puget Sound churned gray outside, a restless mirror to the battle unfolding. Rachel had launched the federal lawsuit 4 days ago. A grenade packed with the 2017 risk report Systemic Risk Assessment, Apex Capital Exposure, and Priya Sharma's files exposing Apex's hidden losses. It charged breach of contract, wrongful termination, and defamation, demanding $15 million and Randall Holt's firing for negligence. The filing had shaken Apex, their stock dropping 5% as financial blogs buzzed with hints of scandal and fraud. Now, in mediation, Victor Langston, Apex's CEO, glared from the table's end, his charm replaced by a snarl. "This is extortion," he hissed, jabbing a finger at Lauren. "You're waving an old report to rob us blind." Lauren held his gaze, her voice cold, precise. "You fired me, smeared me, ignored a report that could have saved you. That's not extortion. Victor, it's karma." Her words landed sharp, forged in the fire of Apex's deceit. Rachel slid the lawsuit forward, her tone like a blade. "The report proves negligence. Priya's data screams fraud. Pay $15 million. Fire Randall or we go to trial. Reuters is one call away." The threat hit like a shockwave, the lawyers flinching. A trial would torch Apex's stock, spark SEC audits, and gut their boardroom. Victor leaned forward, voice slick, desperate. $7 million. Lauren, take it and disappear. This fight's too big for you. His eyes flicked to his team, seeking support. They sat silent, their stillness a betrayal. Lauren's laugh was quick, cutting. $7 million. That's crumbs for a firm hiding billions offshore. Try harder. Her calm was a weapon, sharpened by weeks of Apex's lies. She wasn't the woman who'd packed her desk in quiet defeat. She was a force, unstoppable. Rachel tapped her pad, her grin fierce. "Your team botched due diligence. Your HR screwed the firing. Your smeared defamation, locked tight. You're not bargaining, you're begging." She pushed Priya's files forward, account numbers glaring like proof in a courtroom. "Go public, and your stock's dust. Shareholders will carve you up." The lead lawyer, his tie reeking of wealth, faltered. "The report's questionable. Ms. Sharma's data lacks weight." His voice trembled, a weak bluff. "Question it in court," Rachel snapped. "The SEC's already circling. Want their auditors in your books?" The room stilled, Victor's face a mask of fury. He knew a trial was a death knell. Lauren leaned in, eyes boring into Victor. "You thought I'd fade. Just another obsolete name. I built Orion's core, and I'll break yours." Her voice was steel, slicing through his arrogance. The mediation stretched, Apex's team whispering in frantic knots. Rachel's evidence emails, timestamps. The untouched report was bulletproof. Blogs were alight, Apex's stock down another point. Victor's jaw twitched, his empire fraying. Lauren sat back, her chipped mug a distant echo, replaced by a truth they weren't just losing. They were hers to end. Lauren Carter stood in her Capitol Hill apartment. Seattle's rain now a gentle hum against the windows, like a world catching its breath. Her laptop screen glowed, the bank portal open, showing a number that felt like a carved truth, $15,731.492.40. The wire transfer from Apex Capital had landed, marked by a cold memo, legal comp settlement, Orion, equity. Vesting, no fanfare, no trumpets, just digits that carried the weight of her battle. Her chipped mug, risk less, win more, rested on the counter. Its cracks softened by the morning light, a quiet witness to her triumph. The whiskey bottle was gone, replaced by a steaming coffee, its bite sharp and steady. Apex had broken. Rachel Kim's lawsuit, fueled by the 2017 risk report, and Priya Sharma's files exposing hidden losses, had crushed them. The board, shaken by a 7% stock plunge and the SEC's tightening grip, had huddled in a late-night panic. They'd approved the full $15 million and fired Randall Holt, the VP who'd botched her termination. His exit, splashed across financial blogs, was branded with gross oversight, a corporate obituary. Priya's evidence had lit a fuse under the SEC. Apex's doctored books now flayed open. Their glass empire was splintering, and Lauren had struck the spark. She walked to Lake Union, the Seattle skyline piercing a rare dawn glow, the water rippling with quiet strength, like her own. Her phone pinged a text from Priya, "You're a beast. Drinks tonight?" Lauren smiled, typing back, "You pick." Priya's defiance had shifted the fight, a reminder that allies turn embers into wildfires. Her thoughts turned to Michael Reed, Orion's founder, once her guide, now a husk. She'd seen him yesterday at Orion's old Belltown loft, now a co-working space with trendy murals and artisanal tea. He sat alone, suit rumpled, eyes heavy. "I let you down," he'd said, voice breaking. "I let them erase us." Lauren hadn't softened, but she'd held his gaze. "I brought us back," she said, firm, leaving him to his regret. "By the lake." Lauren sat, the victory sinking deep. It wasn't a loud, fist-raising rush. It was stillness, a reclaiming of the woman who'd built Orion's strength, mentored its dreamers, tamed its chaos. Apex had tried to bury her, but she'd risen, not with anger, but with clarity. The $15 million was a key, not a crown, a way to forge a path she chose. Her eyes caught her bag. The Orion team photo peeking out, their smiles a snapshot of a life she'd loved. The stock ticker stress ball sat home, retired to a drawer, no longer needed. She stood, walking to a nearby dumpster. Photo in hand, letting go wasn't surrender, it was release. She dropped it, the frame clattering, a chapter closed. Back home. She sipped her coffee, its edge grounding her. The Space Needle stood tall in the dusk. A quiet guard. Lauren wasn't the woman who'd packed her desk in silence, nor the one who'd questioned her worth. She was forged anew. Apex's betrayal, her crucible. They'd underestimated her, and she'd made them pay. The future wasn't a reward, it was hers. A wide-open field she'd shape with every step. Lauren Carter stood on a stage in a Seattle convention center, the crowd's energy a pulse that met her own. Tech enthusiasts in sneakers and investors in crisp suits filled the seats, screens glowing with buzzwords. Disruption. Growth. But Lauren's voice cut through, clear and unyielding. "They told me I was finished," she said, the word a spark in the quiet. "But I chose my own story." The room stilled, drawn into her tale Orion's fall. Apex's betrayal, the risk report that brought a giant to its knees. Her words were raw, forged in fire. A call to anyone who'd been cast aside. Off stage. Priya Sharma flashed a fierce grin, her whistleblower files now driving an SEC probe that had Apex's stock spiraling. Lauren's $15 million victory was more than money, it was a beacon, igniting her next chapter. She'd launched Carter Analytics, a firm guiding young analysts to wield finance with truth, not greed. Her Capitol Hill apartment, once a haven of doubt, now hummed with late-night ideas, whiteboards alive with plans, laughter replacing the rain's drone. She stepped off the stage, applause trailing like a tide. Her chipped mug, risk less. Win more was tucked away, a relic of a life she'd outgrown. Outside, Seattle's dusk wove gold across the sky, the Space Needle a steady sentinel. Her phone buzzed client proposals, a TEDx invite, Priya's text, "You owned it." Lauren grinned, pocketing the phone. Apex thought they'd erased her, but she'd carved a legacy they couldn't touch. Her fight left lessons, etched in the heat of her struggle. First, claim your worth. Apex labeled her obsolete, but Lauren knew her value every model she'd built, every storm she'd steadied. That truth was her armor. Second, build your shield. The risk report, buried for years, became her blade because she'd documented her work. A quiet act that roared when it counted. Third, find your allies. Priya's fire, Rachel's precision. They turned her stand into a force. Finally, rise above revenge. Lauren didn't crush Apex for spite. She soared, her victory a quiet strength that outshone their lies. She walked to Lake Union, the water calm, reflecting the city's glow. The future wasn't a prize, it was hers, a canvas to paint. Hit that like button. She'd teased the crowd, or I'll stress test your dreams. The laughter it sparked was freedom, a nod to the woman who'd reclaimed her fire. Lauren Carter wasn't just back, she was unbreakable, and the world was hers to shape.